Welcome back to Aging with Power, folks. I'm Myles McNamara of Comfort Keepers in Home Care, and we are talking all things aging and addressing issues that help us to make empowered decisions as we ourselves or helping an aged loved one through this journey. We're talking to the team from Atria of Santa Clarita. And, we've been talking about the different levels of offerings they have there with independent, assisted, memory care. We're going to shift gears right now and talk to Christy Rose, who is in their Engaged Life Director. So, Christy, and I said you didn't want to talk much before the show, but haha. But so anyway, what exactly is Engaged Life Director, and kind of walk us through of what that concept means for the residents at Atria?
Yes. Well, basically, my job is to keep everyone happy and having fun, and my nickname is the fun lady there. So, and we do that in a variety of ways, and Atria has a unique model of, we call it the 8 dimensions of engagement. So we're focusing on the whole person. We're doing things that are healthy for them, such as exercise. We're doing Zumba, yoga, Tai Chi. Every single day we do 2 exercise classes, but also keeping their mind engaged. And we have programs called Lifelong Learning, where we watch TED Talks. Recently we had someone come in and do virtual reality with them, where they got to experience some new technology and kind of stay up to date on things like that, so they could talk to their grandkids and really be a part of their life still. So that's part of it, but we also, at this stage of life, sometimes people can feel like they're the recipients of a lot, but they don't feel like they can give a lot. And that's not the case. And so we provide opportunities for them to give back to the community. And just a couple of weeks ago, we put together bags. We call them Comfort for Chemo. And we put bags together, took them to Henry Mayo for their chemotherapy patients. So finding ways for them to volunteer and finding ways for them to give back and have that same feeling of satisfaction that we feel every day, caring for them and serving them. So we have a lot of fun. We also do a lot with music. I know Josh mentioned Legato and a couple of programs in our life guidance building. But that's probably one of the most popular things there. We do everything from opera to country, and a lot of dancing. And being so close to Los Angeles, we have access to great entertainers and a lot of good people in the business. And so we bring them in. We do happy hours every Friday. And if anyone's listening and wants to join us.
What time's that happy hour?
We'll serve drinks too. Fridays at 3:30, we have live entertainment. And coming up this month, since it's November 1st, we've got Veterans Day. And that's next week, and it's on Friday, November 11th, and we're doing something special for our veterans. We're honoring them. We have some special people coming to give them certificates of recognition. We're putting pictures of them on our wall of honor, which is something that we're proud of, and honoring our veterans. So if anyone wants to come to that, it's next Friday, November 11th at 10 o'clock.
Awesome. Well, and another one who's trying to be like a little fly on the wall here is our executive director, Jennifer. So, now it's your turn, Jennifer, because I basically,
Okay.
I mean, you're at the helm. You're the grand poobah. So tell us a little bit about what you feel separates Atria from the pack. I mean, what you guys bring to the table. I mean, what we've already heard does so. But anyway, the floor is yours, Jennifer, and then sort of wrap up. As you see us get to the how do we get more information? How do we contact you guys? Is it a website? How do we find out more about Atria if that's the right journey for one of our loved ones?
Absolutely. So I'll just start at the beginning there of what you said, Myles. I think, the biggest thing that sets Atria apart is everything that Josh and Christy have mentioned this morning. The fact that we really do look at the whole person, at the community as a whole, and try to ensure that we're the best fit to take care of that person, both from an acuity standpoint and also from a cultural standpoint, that we can provide what they're looking for. And we really dig in to get that information and to make sure that, that we're tailoring our programs to cater to the people that we're serving. We do that in a variety of ways. When somebody new comes into the community, Christy and her team sit with them, learn all the stuff about them. They have questionnaires they go through with them, conversations they have with them to figure out who these people are and what they want to do, what's going to be interesting to them. We hold monthly meetings with our chef called Food for Thought, so people can have input into what their culinary likes are, what's working, what we're providing for them that's good, and maybe something else that they'd like to see. Maybe they want to share one of their favorite recipes with us so we can make it for them. We really want to make it as much like their home as we can.
Right.
So we really focus on just trying to get to know our residents and make sure that we're providing the best environment for them.
Some of the stories when you sit down and just chat with them and find out what their history is, it's amazing, isn't it? It's that old saying, the best schoolroom in the world is at the side of a senior citizen. But if someone wanted more information on Atria and how to make that first contact, how should they go about it?
Well, there's a variety of ways. I mean, here in the Santa Clarita Valley, the best thing to do is to come in and see us. We're over on Lyons, 24431 Lyons Avenue. Come in and see us, see myself, Megan, or Jason. We're happy to show you around the community, treat you to a meal. Of course, we have a presence online as well. You can go to atriasantaclarita.com and get a wealth of information. But I always tell people, even when they call and I give them information on the phone, best thing to do is to come in here. Come see what we're doing. Come see our residents who are already here. We're happy to host you at an event and let you immerse yourself into our community and see what we're all about.
Should they drop by or should they call for an appointment?
Either way.
Okay. Well,
either way, we are ready to serve you.
Atria.com, what's the phone number here?
661.
I was going to say, hello.
661-254-9933.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So again, folks, that's Atria of Santa Clarita, atria.com or 254-9933.
Yes.
In the 661 area code. Well, guys, thanks for taking the time to come visit. We'll touch base with you at the end of the show with some of those contact information again, in case our listeners didn't have a pen ready at the whelm. So anyway, we're taking our next break, and then we're coming back with Kim Wall, independent consultant with King Bio, focusing on wellness using homeopathy and a host of other things, today being cancer, cause, and prevention. So don't go away. You're listening to Aging with Power on your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS. Welcome back, folks. You're listening to Aging with Power on your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS. I'm your host, Myles McNamara, and as we talk about all things aging and helping to charter our way through this journey and dealing with our aging loved ones or ourselves making some tough decisions. My returning guest today, as I said at the top of the show, big fan because of her wealth of information, is Kim Wall, the independent consultant with King Bio. Her appearance on the show sort of became more personal within the last 72 hours because today Kim's going to help us kind of understand that C word, cancer, some causes, some natural ways to prevent. And I got a call from my father just 2 days ago that he woke up, couldn't urinate, went to the ER. They put him on a catheter. His prostate is now the size of a grapefruit. And so we're looking at some things that are going to be challenging right down the road. So, Kim, again, welcome back to Aging with Power.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And I know you always come to us with so much wealth of information that we just don't pay attention to as far as our diets, as our way of life, of the things that could prevent, not only cure, but prevent some of the things that most of us face as health challenges in our life.
Well, you come to it, and like you just said, out of need now. Now it's important to me because somebody I love has been affected.
Right.
But I wanted to kind of touch base off of the wonderful people you have here ahead of me, because at the conference, I was at a conference 2 weekends ago in Grapevine, Texas, put on by Ty and Charlene Bollinger, who have a passionate quest to educate people on quality of health and cancer because they had lost so many family members to the RX machine. And one of the things everybody talked about there, every single practitioner talked about, was the emotional well-being. So to hear you talk about keeping that emotional well-being intact when a senior reaches your facility is going to improve their health, their long-term outcome, because they're not going to have, which we saw in the literature, disease is looking at emotional and cancer. It's a corrupted emotion that cannot be digested. So they are stored in the tissue that matches that same energy. So an example would be here is if you had fear. So if you were in a facility, let's say, or you're in life, you had a fearful life, then we see fear was affecting more the reproductive organs, the adrenal and kidney cancers. Then we saw people with high worry in their life had more cancers of the stomach and spleen. Well, if we look at the stomach, it's digesting or processing what's going on in our life. So these doctors all talked about this basic component where the emotional affects that area of the body. Simple example is if you were scared to death, what would happen? The body would have an adrenal rush, the kidneys could possibly contract and you pee yourself, let's say, as an example, or lose control. And it shows how those emotions go to that area. Well, if we have that as a constant going on in our life, then that motion is stuck in that system and can cause disease or cause those cells to malfunction. Because all cancer is a cell forgetting to die. It doesn't go through apoptosis. It doesn't die off the way it's supposed to. So that's where we want to look at what can we do as a preventative is right in the very beginning is looking at our emotional well-being. And that's where, and seniors as well, sometimes we get, as we were talking off air, you know, they get into a facility and maybe they have a smell or a fear or a worry or anxiety or grief, and we can see how possibly some of these things could accelerate the aging process or disease coming into the system. And then the thing we all need to pay attention to would be our environmental exposure. They say 80% of the toxins we take into the system, we take in through our skin or through our lungs. So, you know, not to bash anybody, but if you just go into your cupboard right now and look at some of the things of lotions and soaps or air fresheners or disinfectants or things you clean your house with, why don't you just Google some of those chemicals and really realize that they say right there that they're cancer causing. So if we're consuming the things over time and then we're not detoxifying, then those things are going to affect those tissues as well and cause those cells to malfunction.
Can you be more specific? I mean, because everything we look at, I mean, just CYA, so to speak, you always see may cause cancer.
Well, and that's our government not giving us the truth. So that's
Exactly.
a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show. We just want people to just open their eyes because, you know, when people say organic, what does organic mean? Why would I buy organic? Well, you would buy organic because the benefit of organic is no pesticide use on it. Is the air above that food organic? It's not. But at least you know that there's been an effort. The GMO, the same thing. It's an effort to create a food that either is going to be a pesticide producer. You bite the corn, the insect bites the corn, and their stomach blows up. Well, if you eat the corn, what's to say your stomach's not going to get holes in it? Let's look at disease today. Well, we know that the gut is where the immune system is. So if the gut is damaged, and there's a lot of literature that was talked about on candida, which they say 80 to 90% of the population has a overgrowth of the bad yeast. And that, again, is creating the soil for these things to start to malfunction. So you get bad organisms, bad bacteria instead of good bacteria. Candida is a bully. Once it gets out of balance, it throws the whole microsphere off in the gut. So you want to do things to heal that. And some of the things that were discussed were things as simple as aloe vera. Drinking aloe vera, in this case, if there was damage with a little colloidal type silver in the water. And there were many different ways to look at probiotics, fermented foods, simple ways that you can bring in the things that are the little warriors that keep everybody in balance and keep everything going. Because again, you can't get away from it. The EMFs are there. The
EMFs?
Electromagnetic frequencies.
Okay.
So if we could see the EMFs in the room we're sitting in right now, we wouldn't be able to see each other because it would be like a smoky, dark room. So you have cell phones, you have computers, you have modems, you have all these things in your home which didn't exist 100 years ago. And they are all putting off pollution. So we don't, because our food and our earth is so depleted, we don't get trace minerals and we don't get elements out of the dirt. Those elements are like little grounders. When we took them into our cells could use that to help ground the body and help the body detoxify whatever our exposure was. But the more we have of this going on, which we see is called free radical damage, is because those molecules have that odd little piece, so they go around and steal an atom from the other molecules to be happy, but then we're causing damage to cells. So if we had trace minerals in our body, which I'm a huge advocate of, cell food's one of my favorite, things like chlorophyll, because that helps to oxygenate the blood and stuff, those are the little tools that go in and put the little fires out. Because if we don't have raw basic material, then the body can't even begin to fight. And one of the most important raw basic materials is vitamin D. vitamin sunshine. And how sad our society says, stay out of the sun, put on sunscreen, don't do this. Well, we're not going to say go out at noon and, stare up at the sun. But, if you get up first thing in the morning and you got that first 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours in the morning, depending on where you live, those are the hours you want to go out. Do some gardening, do some walking. Take your shoes off hopefully you have a clean ground that doesn't have biosludge on it, but that's another show. But go out and touch the earth and get that electromagnetic energy. Bring the sun into your eyes. Get your glands, your thymus, and everything responding. And the same thing when we go to bed at night. One of the key elements for disease and cancer starting in the body is lack of sleep. Lack of sleep can kill you. Well, people don't realize when they go to sleep in their rooms right now and they shut the lights off, how bright is it in your room? Think about that. It should be black. Not a cell phone, not a light, not a little blue dot glowing somewhere. It should be black because that's how the body releases melatonin, melatonin being a cancer-preventing hormone. But if we don't have that darkness, that melatonin doesn't happen, and therefore we start these patterns of sleep disorders and other things that once they get to be a senior are patterns. And like you say, it can be something that can be very disruptive to their overall well-being. So,
okay, well, we're going to take a break on that note. We're going to go black for about 3 minutes. And, and then when we come back, we'll continue this conversation and then maybe you can focus a little bit more on that C word and so, what if
some of the simple things we can do.
Absolutely. So don't go away, folks. You're listening with Aging with Power on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.